All right, hey travelers, Chris here for Unmatched and I'm here with another review. I'm really super excited about this hotel. This is probably one of the best Hilton properties in the world. We are in southern Sri Lanka, and today I want to introduce you to the Hilton Yala Resort, a brand new and really interesting hotel. The staff told us that it is the only Hilton worldwide that is inside a national park. So that's also where the name comes from, Yala National Park. We are inside. I can't wait to show you around, so let's do that. This video is sponsored by our own website unmatchedvoyages.com, where you can find hotel and flight reviews, deals and promotions, destination reviews and much more. So click the link below or go to unmatchedvoyages.com to find out more. Alright, here we are, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's hop right in. Apologies for the long video, there's just so many things I want to say. First up, location-wise, you can see already Hilton Yala Resort. We are in the southeast of Sri Lanka, and you can see that it's a kind of a lone standing structure. There's not a lot around it, although they are building a lot of other resorts in the area. Now, Google Maps is not really giving this beautiful area credit, so just have some of the drone shots to see what you can expect at the resort. Now, if we talk about how do you get there, there are multiple ways. We contacted the hotel and there's several options. The most common one, I guess, is by car, which we used, and you can see it here, cars, vans. There's a seaplane, which unfortunately was booked out. We would have loved to try that. And then there's a helicopter, which is, I guess, the fastest options, but also by far the most expensive, so we didn't do that. So we got picked up from the Hilton in Colombo. It's about a 4-hour drive, and it goes mainly over the highway, so to be honest the time flies by fairly quickly, but still 4 hours is quite a long drive. Nevertheless, we finally made it. You can see it here already, the Hilton Yala Resort, and there was already a little bit of a greeting committee at the entrance. You can see it here with the solar cells. This is the main building where you arrive, and there you walk up the stairs. You see there's a little bit of a seating area in front of the reception. You come inside and there's this massive big room that you have for the reception. Now, check-in is very uncomplicated. Of course, they know already that you're coming, and then they're coming to your table here. You don't have to wait at the reception, and because it's a fairly small boutique hotel, there's also no queue usually. There's a cold drink, which is also much appreciated. And then you take one of the many electric buggies to bring you and your suitcases down to your villa. Now, there's a couple of different rooms. You can see them here. Those are the stacked, more facing inwards rooms. And then there are the bigger standalone pool villas, which fortunately you can see it here on the top right we got. So I can't wait to show you around this room type. All right, travelers. Let's check it out. We got the Suite 307. It's the highest category room, and they generously upgraded us from the standard room. And please come on in, and I'm super excited to show you this. This is an absolutely stunning room. Now, already from the outside, you have a bit of a little seating area, which is quite cute. And then let's go inside and see what we got here. First thing you notice when you come in is it's really definitely spacious. You have your suitcases here, you have a little bit of a desk or working area here. And I think what's really nice about this is that you have glass everywhere. Now we have right now the curtains closed, but we'll go outside in a second and show you. But you have floor to very high ceiling windows everywhere, which is amazing. You also have this really comfy looking living area with a incredibly flat TV, by the way, and very big. Besides that, we got some snacks that come with the room, and then of course the most important part is the comfortable bed. You can see already it looks stunning. I love the design. You have a lot of wooden tones. They try to highlight sustainability. They use a lot of local materials, and it just looks wonderful. So far amazing. And then let's head over here. You can open or close this, a walk-in closet room, which means that you can hang some of your things here. You can put your suitcase here. You have, typical laundry bag, safe, and so on. And then let's head to the bathroom, which looks really stunning in my opinion. Again, the colors and the materials are just super beautiful. You have his and her sink,
you have a lot of like really nice wooden colored little elements where you have your, bath amenities, and you can really see how they're trying to highlight the sustainability of it all. You get a pretty big shower. You can see it here, it comes as a rain shower, you have a little bench here, and what's also quite nice, Japanese toilet. So you get the bidet function, we love those whenever we see them on hotels, so this is really a big plus. Of course, besides this, you also get a freestanding tub, and besides that, maybe the windows are a little bit dirty today, I think it looks stunning, and you get the look into your private little outdoor garden, basically, where we've been told that animals will roam around freely, so we can't wait to see if we can spot something. Even more important is, and that's I guess the highlight of, if I can figure this out, I cannot, is of course the outside area and especially the pool. Now this is kind of the highlight of this room, is that you have your own little pool area here. Again, completely private. It is completely in nature. There could be elephants walking around, theoretically at least. And you have a lot of seating options. You have your beach chairs, you have a table, you have a couch, you have another seating area. So it's really amazing. Now, in terms of privacy, the only downside is that the next apartment over there with their own pool is right over there, and of course on this side as well. So it is a little bit more cramped in that sense, but to be honest, I don't think that should be an issue. So yeah, this is the highest level suite you get at the Hilton Yala Resort. We can't wait to try it out a bit and also have a look at all the other amenities and things to do here.
All right, then let's move on to the most important meal of the day, the breakfast, which has all of the food you will consume in the main building where you have the reception and you have the restaurant called Dira. And for the breakfast, the hotel opted to do a bit of a hybrid approach where you do have a buffet, but it's very limited, but you do get a menu where you can order things. So you can see here, there's some of basic pastries, granola, some fruits. That's always out as a buffet, so you can directly hop onto there and get something. But you can also, of course, order a lot of things. And you can see it here a little bit. There are savory dishes, there are sweet dishes, and there's actually quite a lot that you can try. And I have to say, it's especially beautifully presented. You can see it here, the fruit platter. You have here a granola, which was absolutely delicious. There's a local option, which I forgot the name of, but it's a very curry based. And of course you can get other things like, for example, waffles or a cheese platter. There's really so many options. And if that would not be enough, I think what really comes out as a highlight here is that the chef and his team are very open to any creative challenges and to customization. So starting from, let's say you only want, like me, the papaya and watermelon on your fruit platter. Or for example, you would like to have a soup even though it's not on the menu. Hey, no problem. You would like to have the salad even though it's not on the menu. No problem at all. So it's really nice to challenge the chef a bit, and they're happy to make most dishes, as you can see here, even for breakfast, which feels incredibly luxurious, this level of customization, like this amazing looking salad. So big thumbs up for that one. Once you're done with your breakfast, you can then head on to the big pool. Now, some rooms of course have their own villa, but if you have only the plunge pool, as you can see here in some of the rooms, or you only have the jacuzzi on the second floor of some of the buildings, you might like to come to the bigger pool here. It's right outside the lobby building, and you anyway cross it when you go to breakfast, so you might as well hop into it right afterwards. There's a couple of beach chairs, there's a couple of cabanas. The water is quite warm, I have to say, and only small downside here is that there's not really shade during the noontime. And one of the very few critique points I would say is that they don't bring any water to you when you come there. Like, you can bring your own water, you can, from your room, or you can get it from the reception, but it would be nice to just get some cold water there. You can order it, so it's not like it's a problem, but I don't know. why the hotel chose not to hand out water to guests that come to the pool. So that one could be improved, but otherwise it's a really big and relaxing pool with a lot of greenery around.
To give you a sense of how big the hotel is, we have a map here. It's really small. You can see that we have around 20-25 units, and most of these are standalone villas, at least those ones over here. And what's really interesting is that there's also what they call an elephant corridor, like a wildlife crossing. Because we're in a national park, they try to, reduce their impact on the wildlife as much as possible. So you do have wildlife actually crossing here, including wild elephants, on the hotel premises. So you also notice that we are on this walk, on this wooden pathway. And this is so that they try to minimize basically your footprint also here on the national park. This goes through the entire resort, so you're always asked to stay on these roads. There are also buggy roads, but you're not supposed to walk on there, of course. I think what's also interesting here is that behind me you see the wildlife crossing, and so they kept it deliberately quite wide, which means that, for example, if you have elephants who in the past already have had their paths that they would walk every day, then they didn't want to impact that. So you see that it's actually quite wide, and there's nothing keeping the wildlife from going here. There are no fences, nothing. So be it sloth bears, elephants, or any other animals, they come through here unimpeded, basically. One more thing to note is you can see that this is not a highly manicured landscape in a sense. Since they wanted to integrate it into the park as much as possible, you see that they tried to keep the flora and fauna as much in line with the national park's own landscape as possible. So it does look a bit different from like a highly manicured Maldives resort, but I think it works perfectly to really keep you in this mindset that you are part of the park. One interesting thing that the staff also showed us is you can see here there's a damaged door, and this is a service room, and they told us they actually left some leftover food inside. And apparently at night an elephant came and tried to get to the food. You can see they have quite a bit of an impact here. So yeah, you really see that the wildlife is never far away from your hotel room.
Now, when you're not busy relaxing, you can of course go, for example, to the beach here, or rather the seaside. You can see it already from the drone shot that there's not exactly a true beach or a sandy beach, but it's more of rough seas. When you go out with a ranger, usually you can see the watchtowers here. They are always on the lookout for animals. We saw some tracks of elephants that are actually climbing these sand dunes you can see in the backside. So the wildlife really comes close to here, and that's why you're also being asked to bring a ranger for these little walks. It's no problem, they have them on premises anyway, and they're super happy to come out and tell you a bit more about the wildlife and also the nature around you. There were also a couple of stray dogs. This one stuck to us and very cute, wanted to be part of our little group. You can see here, for example, the ranger pointed out these kind of amphibious fish creatures that actually stay out of the water. It's really fascinating. You can also see some of the locals actually fishing here, which I think also looked really cool, at least on the shot. And here you can see us also being on the top of the sand dune. And of course, my wife made a friend with the stray doggo. So overall, it's quite nice to go on a quick and uncomplicated walk. It is a little bit unfortunate that you have to get a ranger. It just adds a little bit of complexity to it. But overall, it's nice, and it gives your walk a bit more context, which I quite like. Okay then, maybe the beach walk is not for you and you want to go to the gym or the spa, of which the hotel has both. Now first up to the gym, it's actually close to the entrance, and you can see it here. It's surrounded by windows again, and it seems to be a general theme here that you have maximum view of the greenery and nature around it. In terms of equipment, I think it's solid, but to be honest, I'm not a frequent gym goer, so I can't really judge by that. The AC was on quite strongly, so it was really colder, like refreshing in there, so I think working out even when it's super hot outside is no problem. On the other side, and just crossing 10 meters over, you can go to the spa, and we also wanted to try that one out. Now, when you come in, you can see already, again, there is nature everywhere. I really love these windows. This is such a great idea, I think, by the architect. Now, this is a pretty standard spa, I would say, and it's also surprisingly not too expensive. Now, you can stop here. We flip through the menu that you have in your room. I believe we paid around $80 for a 1-hour oil massage per person, which I think is quite fair, especially when you're in the middle of nowhere. That feels extra nice, and especially when you're coming back from a safari, it is even better. There are some rooms or rather small buildings that you get led into by your masseuse, and then you can change and enjoy the massage. And you can see here the view you get while you're having the massage, while you're rather having your eyes closed. But just look at the stunning nature. I just love how they incorporated this to really, enable you to see all the wildlife at all times. It's really fantastic. Now, after the massage, you still get a tea and some, I believe it was pickled mango pieces, which was quite interesting. Okay then, we are very relaxed. Now it's time to talk about dinner. The Dira restaurant, the one restaurant on site, is where you also take your lunch and your dinner. And you can see it already. It was not very crowded. We used to eat quite late, so maybe that's why. You can see some dishes here, and apologies, it's quite dark. We sat outside, which was nice, especially when there's a bit of wind going. And the food looked amazing. I mean, look at this crab tower. It's beautiful. On some of the days we asked for example, these customized crab risottos, or we asked again for the salad because we loved it so much, and also couldn't eat that much because it was super hot outside during the day. But nevertheless, my point is, for around $30 or so of a main dish, you get amazing food, and you can also customize it as much as you like, as long, of course, as the team has the ingredients there. Now, right next to it is Vanya, the lounge or bar. This is next to the restaurant and the reception, everything in this one building. And you can see it here again. It was super, not crowded. It was really empty. But we still wanted to try it out, especially because we quite like the design where they have these, bottles standing around, and they have quite a good selection of spirits and wines, I would say, including some local options. And of course, that's also what we wanted to try. So if you're interested, here are a couple of their cocktails. Again, price-wise, certainly not cheap. I believe this roughly translates to around $15 to $20 per cocktail, depending on which one you select. And here, for example, you can see one of the cocktails with, I believe it's raspberries, mint, and arak, which is a local spirit from coconut sap. So very interesting. My wife had a non-alcoholic milkshake, and that one also looked great and tasted great. Okay then, but let's talk about, of course, the main thing, which is you want to do something when you come here, right? And we got shared a PDF already up front, which gives us a little bit of an input on what you can do. And there's a ton of different safaris, walks, there's dives and fishing and so on. As recommended, we pre-booked 2 safaris, and we also decided to have one more spontaneous safari after the fact because we really enjoyed ourselves on those. And the safaris really are the highlight of this hotel, since you're so close to the national park. You're in the buffer zone. It only takes 10 minutes over to the gate. So it's super easy to hop onto one of these safari trucks that you can see here. Slight warning, I guess, if you're getting car sick easily. The roads are really rough. This is, by the way, an elephant who comes to the entrance of the hotel from time to time, so he's quite tame. And then you hop over to the entrance gate here, and then you basically follow your guide here, seen on the right side sitting there, and the driver, who together decide where to go to best see the animals that you would like to see. And it's just stunning. I think the feeling of actually seeing these animals in the wild feels so much more rewarding than if you just see them, let's say, in a zoo or so. You can see here these wild elephants that fortunately are quite used to the trucks, and so they don't really seem to care about us and just ignore us, which feels really amazing. Of course, there's some amenities. You do have some cold drinks. There's a cold box with some juices, coconut water, and regular water. You also have the option, depending on whether you get a morning or evening safari, on some food. So we did one morning safari. You can see here you get a quick breakfast at the bar before you leave, and then during the day at around 10 a.m. or so there's another snack where you stop the truck in a nice area and wait and eat, which feels amazing. Here, for comparison, this is in the afternoon, the safari, or late afternoon, you get some more food as well. Generally, we had better experiences with the afternoon safari. It could just be chance, of course, nature's unpredictable, but we saw a lot more animals, including a leopard. But also, I have to say, I like the breakfast at the restaurant very much. So at a morning safari, it starts at 5:30 a.m. You will not have the chance to get to that. So yeah, choose wisely. Overall, it was a stunning and fantastic experience. You see crocodiles, you see a lot of elephants, and they are, to me, really the highlight. It's just such a beautiful creature. And there's plenty of other animals that you can see everywhere. The drivers of the safari trucks are well connected with each other, so whenever there's a sighting, let's say of an elephant or a leopard, they quickly hear about it, and then you can choose together with your ranger if you should head there or not. And for us, that worked out really perfectly. One thing to mention is that you can see it already here on the right side. This is not always the most, let's say, private experience. Of course, there's plenty of other trucks, and especially if there's some sightings, let's say like a leopard, suddenly everyone wants to come there. One of my personal highlight, by the way, this elephant, a young elephant, apparently challenging this white bird and got really fed up with him always following him. It's just so wonderful to see. And then of course on our last day, on our third safari, we saw a leopard. Unfortunately, I'm not a nature photographer and my lens doesn't go far enough, so it's very hard to see. I can zoom in digitally, but it gets very blurry. But it was amazing. We got some binoculars to actually see the leopard up close, and it was just such a beautiful sight. An absolutely stunning animal. Of course, when you have leopard sightings, you have also sightings of all the trucks in the park, because of course the leopard is the highlight, and so very quickly there's a little bit of a traffic jam coming together when 30 or so trucks all try to reach the same spot. Nevertheless though, it's an amazing experience, and that's why we also chose to do a third one spontaneously. I think you have to make the best of it while you're down there, and it was an amazing and really unforgettable experience for us that I can highly recommend to all of you. So apologies for the clickbaity title, but I wanted to bring it back to who this hotel is for and who is it not for. And I think this is really important that you know what type of hotel this is before you come here, otherwise you might be a bit disappointed. This really is a hotel that tries to, put nature and luxury kind of in a coexistence, and that means making a certain level of sacrifices. So if you're here and you want to come for a 5-nighter honeymoon and you don't want to ever leave your hotel villa for 5 nights, this is not the place for you. For one, because there's no room service. So you are also not encouraged to have any food in your room, and especially outside, because wildlife is everywhere. It's definitely quite limited in once it gets dark. You're not supposed to roam around by yourself, again because of the wildlife. You technically have a beach, but it's not a sandy beach, so don't expect to be able to bath there. So if you come with the right mindset here, I think if you appreciate nature and you want to see monkeys and other animals roam around on the hotel site, then this is a perfect place for you. As mentioned, there's only one restaurant, but with the flexibility that the chef brings to the table, I think it's amazing and it's totally enough. But expect that when you come here, make the most of it by taking the safaris, take the rangers, take their guidance and come for the safaris. It's really worth it. Otherwise, if you're just looking for a, kind of a beach resort or something like that, I think the Conrad Koh Samui in Thailand, for example, might be the better choice, roughly the same price level. But if you don't mind making these sacrifices, I think this is the perfect place to come and to see nature without making a big impact. So that's it from my side, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions and I haven't addressed it yet in the video, just put it in the comments and I'll try to answer them. So cheers, until the next one. Whee!